So the other day I was thinking about doing a Crystal Beast deck profile, and I ended up not doing it because the idea was that I was going to use Dragonic Diagram to destroy the Crystal Beast monsters, and then you contribute the Crystal Beast monsters in the spell and trap card zone to summon a Masterpiece. But then I realized that when you tribute the Crystal Beast monsters for Masterpiece, it actually only gives him monster protection, even if you tributed like a Crystal Beast monster and a Crystal Beast spell and trap card, because it gets the immunity from whatever the original type of the card is. So I had all these Crystal Beast cards out, and there's a lot of them that don't make it into the deck profiles anyway, and I thought I would maybe do sort of this showcase where I show you guys all the high rarity Crystal Beast cards I've collected. I've had a lot of these for years, actually. I think I picked them up in 2012, and even then they were still kind of old, because that was around the time that Exceed Monsters were just coming out, and these were from Tactical Evolution, so they were a while, or actually, sorry, Forces of Break. They were from Forces of Break. But anyway, yeah, I have a lot of high rarity Crystal Beast cards, and I kind of wanted to show them off and talk about what makes them so cool. So for the first one, and inarguably the most important one, we have three Ultimate Rare First Edition Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. I think this is one of the best looking Ultimate Rares of all time. It's always hard to show Ultimate Rares on camera, but just the stamping on this card is crazy. You have all the different parts of the actual crystal behind them, and then like the wings, you have the feathers and stuff. And man, I feel like this is a card that really got me into Ultimate Rares, and these were some of the cards. See, that's a really good viewpoint as well. These were the cards that really got me into collecting high rarity stuff. They just look so great, and Sapphire Pegasus is obviously the most important Crystal Beast monster in the deck, no matter if you're playing a casual version or a semi-competitive version like I've tried to make. It's like the only good Crystal Beast monster in terms of everything. It has great stats, great effect, and all that jazz, where a lot of the other ones only have great effect or only have good stats. I wish that all the Crystal Beast monsters were as good as Sapphire Pegasus. Sadly, they're not, but yeah, definitely three of those is really important. The next one is the other main attacker, Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger, which I do have three Ultimate First Editions of. Yeah, this card's really cool as well. It's kind of silly looking. It's a tiger with a giant spike on its head, but yeah, this came from the same set, and this card isn't super expensive anymore. I think when I picked these up, Pegasus and Topaz Tiger were actually about the same price, and now Pegasus is much higher and the Topaz Tiger is much lower. But this is still a good card. I think it would have been better. Well, actually, I know it would have been better if it got the attack boost when it attacked just in general, as opposed to when it attacked a monster. It makes it a lot less playable when it only gets that boost if it's battling a monster. But this was a card that I played at 3 for a while. Here, I might even just zoom in. I feel like I always start videos and then zoom in afterwards. But this is a card that I used to play at 3 for a long time, and the only thing that really stopped that was when I figured out that the next card here, which is Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle, and this card only comes in super rares that I know of. When I figured out that Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle was better for Exceed material because you could use it for Lightning Chidori, which might not sound very powerful right now, but back in the day, Lightning Chidori was pretty threatening, and not a lot of decks could make it, but this deck was one of them that could. So as soon as Lightning Chidori came out, I pretty much switched all the Topaz Tigers in the deck out for Eagles, because a lot of the time you're not really attacking these cards anyway, because I mean, there's only a 200 attack difference between the Eagle and the Tiger, but this one was more useful for Chidori before any cards like Castel or 101 or Exciton came out. So that's why I have 3 of those. The other card is 3 Ruby Carbuncle. I don't believe I've ever played 3 of these in one deck. I've been known to sort of be a Ruby Carbuncle hater. I don't think it's that good. I mean, its effect is great, but everything else about it's pretty bad. But I do have 3 just in case I ever need to play 3. And I don't actually have the Hobby League ones because Hobby League cards are really hard to play in real tournaments. And when I was picking these up, I was playing Crystal Beast in like locals and stuff, so I didn't want to get a game loss. Maybe eventually I'll pick up the Hobby League version of this card, but I actually think that the Super looks really clean. I'm not a huge fan of Hobby Leagues on monster cards. I like the spells and traps that are Hobby League rare. But yeah, I mean, this card, I don't usually play 3. I usually just play 1 or 2, but I have 3 just in case. That's actually it for the monsters. If you've known my channel for a while, you know that I don't really play the casual version of Crystal Beast where you're trying to summon Rainbow Dragon, and as a result, I don't have Emerald Tortoise, Amethyst Cat, or Amber Mammoth, or Rainbow Dragon for that matter. I have those sitting around, but not like the high rarity versions because I don't play them in a dex. So now we're on to the spells, and these are pretty cool looking. So we have 3 copies of the Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. First edition, this is like screwing up the lighting. First edition, Ultimate Rare. Once again, these came out of the same set as Topaz Tiger and Sapphire Pegasus. This card used to be really important. I think now in my later builds, I've pretty much just stuck to like 1 or 2 copies. Sometimes even just not playing it at all. It's probably just too slow for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Even on a casual level, but it's still, I don't know, it was one of those field spells that had so many powerful effects, and it's one of the better Crystal Beast cards, other than Sapphire Pegasus. And yeah, there's not a lot of field spells that come in Ultimate Rare, but I think they look really cool, so I wish we got more of those. But Rainbow Ruins is definitely, at one point, it was a very solid card. And another thing that I got that I actually just picked up at the WCQ is that a subscriber of mine actually came up to me and gave me these Starfoil ones. And I know people don't really like Starfoil Rarity, but these ones are actually kind of hard to get. So back when Battle Packs actually happened at tournaments, one of the prizes you could get, if you got first or second, there was a selection of Starfoil cards. I think a couple of the others were like Electric Virus and Gravekeeper's, whatever the one that tributes to destroy cards. Anyway, there were a bunch of cards. Oh, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon was one of them. There were a bunch of cards that came in Starfoil, and you had to actually win the Battle Pack event for them. I know it's really bad on camera because it's like, Starfoil Rarity isn't like super cool, but these in particular I was really happy to get. That was very nice of the subscriber to give them to me. If you're watching this video, thank you very much. I do appreciate them, and they're pretty cool looking. And it's just something that you really don't see very often. I'd say that I've probably even seen more of the Ultimate Rare copies than I've seen this one, just because a lot of people don't have access to it. Next, we have Crystal Beacon, the Secret Rares. I believe these came out of Raw Yellow Mega Pack or whatever. These are pretty old, and I don't know, the secrets for these look pretty cool, I'd have to say. But one thing that I did pick up, and I'll show you next, this is something I also just got at the NAWCQ. I did pick up Hobby League versions of these. There was a vendor that had like 200 Hobby League cards. No carbuncles. I probably would have picked them up just for this particular video. And I don't know if I played this in a real tournament just because of the Hobby League problem. But man, these look pretty slick, I'm not going to lie. I feel like Crystal Promise might have also been printed in Hobby League. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so the Hobby League Rarity, you don't know. They basically used a glaze on top of the card to give that effect. So a lot of the cards are actually much thicker than normal cards, so it's not like Hobby League cards are inherently banned from tournaments, but if you can tell what a card is when it's face down, it's an illegal card. So a lot of times with the Hobby League cards, they're just not really playable in real events. We also do have the 3 Crystal Promise. This is another one that was the Secret Rare. I don't think this looks as good as Beacon, but it still looks pretty nice. It's probably just because it only has like a red theme going on, where Beacon it's like a whole bunch of colors. Yeah, that's definitely one of the better Crystal Beast Speller Traps. I only have 2 Crystal Blessing. This is, once again, they just printed a whole bunch of cards in Secret Rare in that particular set. They like downgraded a bunch of the rarities of the regular Crystal Beast monsters, and they upgraded a bunch of rarities of the Spells and Traps, because prior to this, you could only get Beacon, Promise, and this card, Blessing, in common. So by giving them Secret Rare, it kind of made the whole deck look really nice. So, but I've used this in a couple of things, like ones that we're playing. I've played Phantom Knight Crystal Beast. I played like Dante's and stuff. I have 2 rare values. Only one of them is first edition, sadly. This is one of, I don't know, I always go back and forth on this card, you know. I feel like in some builds it's really good, but a lot of times it's just really bricky. It doesn't help that your opponent gets to pick what you send. But I mean, it looks cool. And when it came out, it was actually one of the best cards in the deck, just because not a lot of decks had that much acceleration back in the day. Nowadays, though, obviously if this was like a searcher, it'd be a little better. But I don't know, it's still cool, and it looks cool, so we got it. 1 Crystal Abundance. I've never believed in playing more than one of this card, so I only ever bothered to pick up one of it. It's in that nice Secret Rare foiling, so yeah, that's all we're saying about that. 1 Crystal Tree. This card, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, so I think it only has 2 printings. I think it only has an Ultra Rare and a Super Rare printing. And for a while, this card was like $5. It was one of my favorite cards to get as a throw-in trades. and I've actually sold most of the other ones, but I do have this one right here. I think I probably have another one somewhere if I looked hard enough, but I like this card a lot, and it's basically, as far as like modern Crystal Beasts have gone, this has basically been my main combo piece in a lot of different decks, because with just one Sapphire Pegasus and Crystal Tree, that's 2 crystallized monsters, and then if you had like a Metal Foes monster or Dragonic Diagram, you could pop the Sapphire to then put 3 counters on this, and then 2 counters on it, and then you send to the grave to put 2 more Crystal Beasts, then you have 4 Crystal Beasts in your back row. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this card's only gotten better with time, and I think that's kind of the trend that it's going to continue with. The very last card that I have is one Crystal Release. This card, I think I used to play it before, so yeah, so it's kind of funny with these 2 cards. Crystal Tree's only gotten better with time. Crystal Release has only gotten worse with time. There was a point when I was playing multiple Crystal Releases and no trees, and now I feel like in every build I only just play tree. It's probably just because this one's an equip spell, so it requires a lot more setup, and it's just not as consistent. They're both do fairly similar things, but the Crystal Tree is easier to set up and has a bigger payoff. So that's one that I've gone with as of recent times. And anyway, though, that about wraps it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this showcase. I know it's kind of different than what I usually post, but I really like Crystal Beast monsters. And I don't know, if you guys want to see more showcases of like my high rarity stuff, I obviously have like all the Sky Scourge stuff that's high rarity, and I have all the volcanic stuff that's high rarity. If you want to see any of those decks, though, that I just kind of go through and talk about them while showing off the cards that I have, please let me know. And anyway, I'll see you guys later.